Thanks.
All right, they're coming in.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Good to see everyone that's joining us tonight. We're going to go ahead and get started because we do have a pretty packed agenda in terms of just announcements and updates, but also wanting to make sure we carved out time in our time in tonight's meeting to have a community dialogue as well. So thank you again for joining us. I am Eshé Collins, honored to serve as your District 6 representative on the Atlanta Board of Education. And then I'll just do a quick popcorn around to APS staff that is joining us tonight. I'll popcorn it over to Keith.
Thank you, Eshé. Good evening, everyone. Keith Glass, board staff, community affairs manager for the board. Happy to be here. Looking forward to the dialogue.
Okay. I'll popcorn over to Keisha Copeland.
Good evening, everybody. Happy Wednesday. Eshé Collins, Executive Director of Family and Community Engagement, and happy to be here.
Thank you. Excuse me, Miss White. You're on mute.
All right.
Okay.
White, and I'm also in the Office of Family Engagement. I represent the Mays and Jackson cluster schools.
Thank you. Emily, Miss Holland.
Oh, hello. I'm Emily Holland. Can you all see me? Because I can't see the.
No, we can't see you.
Okay, can you see me now? Hold
Yes,
on.
ma'am.
Here we go. All right, how about now?
There we go. Yeah.
Oh, hello. Hi, I'm Emily Holland, and I am also a member of the Office of Family Engagement team representing the Charter, Partner, and Carver clusters.
Thanks. And then I see we have Travis Norvell that is joining us. Travis, you want to say a couple of words?
Hey, good evening. Travis Norvell, Strategy and Engagement. Happy to be here.
Yeah, great. Anyone else? I do want to shout out. I see Principal Harvey for Heritage Academy that is joining us. Good to see you as well. Anyone else from APS that is with us? Great. And if you want to in the chat, just kind of, drop your name or represent your cluster, school or neighborhood just to give some shine as well. So the chat is live as well. Oh, hey, Jessica, good to see you. And so we have a few updates just to provide for you. And please monitor the chat as there are going to be a few links that Keith will be dropping in the chat for you to either have access to that web page or access to be able to register. So the first update I just want to share with you all, if you're not aware, there has been a change in the in board leadership. I concluded my service as chair on January the 8th, and Erica Mitchell now serves as our new board chair, and Jennifer McDonald serves as our vice chair. We also have moved away from Facebook Live as our primary source to stream our meetings. We are now on YouTube. So we'll drop the link in the chat where you're able to access our YouTube channel, where all of our meetings will be live on that channel. And also you can pull the archives much easier than when we were streaming on Facebook. If you have any questions or have any technical difficulties or issues with that, please reach out to the board office and we'll figure out what's happening there so we can make sure that you have access to our channel. The next update I wanted to provide to the community is our superintendent search update. The board will meet in a special call meeting on this Monday, February the 26th, in terms of moving to the next step of our superintendent search. And that will be the first meeting that we will begin to review the applications and candidates that have applied for the role. More details will be shared as we get close to that process over the next couple of days. And as you know, the board, it is a public meeting, so we'll also have dialogue from the dais on the search as well. So I want to put that on your radar that we will have a special call meeting on Monday, February the 26th at 1 p.m. That will be the next step of us in the search process, where we'll actually review the candidates that have applied to be the next superintendent of APS. The next reminder I want to put on your radar is also pre-K lottery applications is open until March 1st, and the drawing will be on March 15th. In the chat, you will see the link where families can register for the lottery and for the particular school, for the actual information to register not only for their child for pre-K but also the lottery. That link is in the chat, and so wanting to also make sure that you have that information there. The next piece, the next reminder that we have is, and I'll actually turn it over to family engagement to discuss more about our summer program registration, and also Go Teams, the Go Teams candidate declarations that are now open. I will now turn it over to family engagement.
Good evening, everyone. We have two quick announcements. I'm going to start with the March announcement, and then I'll turn it over to Ms. Holland, who will talk about our summer camp. So in the event, Board Member Collins, if your next monthly meeting occurs before this, we are actually having our first male engagement conference in March. The tentative date is March the 23rd. It is for all of our males to participate through March Madness, hint, March Madness basketball. Just kind of give you a little sneak peek of that. So stay tuned. We'll provide more information as we get closer to the date. But I wanted to say that first. And so I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Holland, who's going to give you a brief tidbit about our Summer Camp Experience Expo.
Hello again. We are so excited to celebrate our 10th annual Summer Experience Expo this year. We will be hosting it next Thursday from 5 to 8 at ISC. And then we will also, and that's in person, and then we will have the virtual version, and it's always exciting there too. And that will be on the 7th, and it will be 10:30 to 12. And I've dropped the links also in here to register. So please come out and join us. We will have opportunities for, I know the high schoolers are going to love this, internship opportunities. So come on out, K through 12. We want to see everyone there. So register today, and we look forward to seeing you.
Thank you. Also, in terms of Go Teams candidate declarations are now open until next week, until Wednesday, February the 28th. We'll drop the link in the chat as well. Travis, I don't know if anyone from your team, did you want to share a little bit more about that process, or just a notice to the public?
Oh, you got it great. And we'll put I think Keith probably already has the link as well in the chat, and I'll look for it. But yeah, open till the 28th. Please join, staff members, families. We need your help. I see Ms. Howe on here. She'll tell you how important it is to be available, show up, and participate in Go Teams. And so if you want to help out with your school, or if there's another school in the community you want to support, please sign up.
Great. Thank you so much, Travis. The next announcement and update just want to provide is that we are also hosting a FAFSA help session on Tuesday, February the 27th from 5:30 to 7:30. That link is in the chat as well. And we're really pushing for families and our students, particularly our juniors and our seniors, to really become involved in this, participate in this session, because there's been new changes to the FAFSA that a lot of what we're finding out, a lot of families aren't aware of. And it also changes the process and also changes contribution levels, all of those key pieces in the process. And so we're encouraging you, if you have children that are in high school, or if you have a neighbor or family member that can really benefit from joining this help session, please send the link to them to join us in that session that will take place on next Tuesday, the 27th, from 5:30 to 7:30. One thing we heard a lot was assistance in helping with the FAFSA, and now they actually have changed the form and the format of the FAFSA is even more critical now that we have as many students and families actively involved just to help navigate that process. The next update we have is in school nutrition. And so there's a couple of pieces. Here. As you know, the board, we've been in this transition process for almost about a year and a half now, made the decision a couple of years ago to move our school nutrition from third-party services to bringing it back in-house. And this was an effort for us to improve quality of our food and also just have more control over school nutrition. We are deep into that process as we speak. Our facilities department, led by Chief Larry Hoskins, is leading that work. And so we are hiring for cafeteria managers and food assistants with full benefits and paid holidays. And so we put the link in the chat if you know anyone that would be interested in working with APS and school nutrition, or if anyone, please share that information out. That hiring is underway, and we're looking at to hire a few. I think it is a couple hundred employees as we are bringing in 90. What was that? I think it's the exact numbers, about 84 kitchens online to service our children in-house. So you'll see that link there. The second part of our school nutrition update, we are also hosting a student nutrition competition that will be held on March 23rd from 9 to 2 at Jackson High School. And Keith, did you want to share a little bit more about that competition and what it entails? So just to provide more information for the public.
Well, it just yep. So as you know, APS has a culinary program at a few of our schools, and so just a way to us to showcase their talents and to give our students who are participating in this program an opportunity, to showcase what the skills and everything that they've been doing. And so we're looking forward to this first competition for our students.
Great. Thank you so much, Keith. So that information is in there as well, and you'll also see it posted on our social media channels as well. And so then the last update that we have of recent updates is also we've announced our class of 2024 commencement schedule. Graduation will take place the week of May 18th. And so that link is in the chat as well for you to have for your records and also share with others in terms of the graduation schedule as we're entering the spring season. We're towards the end of the school year, and so wanting to also bring that to your radar, put it on your radar. Just a couple of additional announcements that we have is the board. We have launched our board meeting calendar for 2024. Just a reminder, our board meeting calendar is not based on the school year, it's based on the calendar year. And so we'll drop that link, we'll drop that attachment in the chat so you'll have that in terms of where our board meeting dates. And we have our special recognition board meeting date on that calendar as well. You will see that there. And I also want to uplift next week our parent cafe, which is for our parents of students with disabilities. That will be held next Wednesday at 5:30. Ms. Holland or anyone from Family Engagement, did you want to provide any information on that?
Just that it's an awesome experience for families to come out and support. And as you know, Edith Thackeray retired last June, so this will also be an opportunity to meet the new parent mentors next week too, and get resources for your families across the board.
Great, thank you. Thank you so much. I know we shared a lot of information, a lot of announcements and updates. Let me look at one, making sure I covered everything with you all. think we're good to go there. And so, yeah, we have some additional time. We have some additional time for our community conversation. And so we'll use the remaining time to open it up for any questions, comments, thoughts, any ideas to the community. I see we have a couple of questions in the chat. So if you also want to come off your mic and ask those questions or utilizing your raised hand icon, we will also take your questions there. I think I see oh, Adrian. Yes.
Yeah, hey. Hi,
Hey, Adrian, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. So I have a couple of questions. One, about, I wanted to ask you about community involvement in the hiring of the superintendent.
Mhm.
Are you gonna have any way to get input or have any kind of public forum for the final candidates?
Yeah, so there will be a community panel like we've always had in the process. We'll share more details about that when we meet on Monday, the 26th. In terms of the public forum piece, the verdict is still out there. We haven't had that conversation yet, and I think it boils down to the applicants that we receive and how we want to move forward with that process. And so that will be part of the conversation that we'll have on Monday in terms of the next steps in regards to if it'll be a public forum or anything for the candidates at that juncture. But there will be a community panel as well, and so I make sure to keep the community posted in terms of the process as we move forward. Now that the application period is closed, and we'll be looking at the applications shortly.
Okay, great. And then my second question has
Yeah.
to do with, I was in NPUY meeting yesterday.
Yep.
And heard you briefly talk about the properties and the properties possibly going to a land trust. Can you address the properties that I'm particularly interested in Capitol View Elementary?
Yep. So the first phase, as you know, we've been engaging in our facilities master planning process, and of our properties, they've been categorized and kind of grouped based on usability, space, size, and those and some other factors. And I'll drop the facilities master planning page with all of this updated information. There are approximately, I think it's like 9 properties that we know for a fact we have no more facilities we have no use for. Is either too small to build a school, too small to build a school on, or the district has made the decision that we really don't need to use the property anymore for school use. But there is the opportunity for us to really be a catalyst of development and a catalyst of driving, just to change and bringing vacant properties that been vacant for years back online to the community. And so the board, when we met in October, made the decision in terms of moving those properties. There's only about 8 or 9 of them, into a land trust where we'll still maintain, the school system still maintain ownership of the land, but there's the opportunity through our RFP process and with community engagement to decide what we want those schools to collectively be, to collectively look like. And so that's what I shared last night in the NPU meeting, where there's conversations in terms of the intergovernmental agreement with the city, and also with the land trust to create the development authority that will lead this process. Because the school system, we're not in the process of the development side of things, and so that's where that work is. Capitol View Elementary isn't on that list, Adrian, just because of the space. Is still, it's a large space. We could still possibly use it for a school in the future if there's growth in that area. We do know now that there are movie theaters and private entities that lease the building for various ways, and so that school is still put on pause, but nothing is happening to it as we speak. And
I guess my biggest concern is that it's maintained well and kept up, because some of the other properties have kind of fallen into disrepair, like the Adair Park School, and we don't, I think that school is a treasure.
Yeah, so the Adair Park School, we sold that years ago where now it's the lofts.
Well, yeah, no, I know, but
Oh,
when they moved in, had like a
yeah,
tree in the middle of the building and
yes.
holes in the ceiling, a lot of water damage. And I just don't want, I'm very protective of your building in my neighborhood.
Absolutely. And so I definitely will share with you, and I'll get with Larry to actually get the maintenance schedule that we currently do. I know they're out there looking at one of the trees on the side of the school that is kind of breaking off or whatnot. And so there's definitely, it's on the maintenance schedule to keep the basic maintenance of the building intact for sure. And so I'll get some more information from Larry on that end and what we're thinking about moving towards, because the land trust piece, that's just the first phase. So we still have more phases of this facility's master planning process that the board will continue to engage and have dialogue and make decisions on as well.
Okay, but the thought about the affordable housing for teachers, that's kind of off the table now?
No, it's not. No, as a matter of fact, that was a catalyst for us doing the land trust in that space. And so we made it very clear in terms of the priorities, that knowing that we don't need the land anymore for a school, but we want to keep ownership of it, what those priorities were. And it was affordable housing for our educators and our workforce, thinking about like the possibility if if there's a need to address early childhood education, what that looked like. I know there was conversations about ways of being part of the local ecosystem in that area. So if it was one of like storefronts, whatever that is. And so that's why we did move for a move towards that land trust model, because we're not in the business of building affordable housing, right? But we want to make sure that we and the community is at the table for those conversations. So no, it's not off the table. It's actually moving forward, and we've been very clear about that.
Okay, great. I want to introduce you to Kirsten Barry, who is on this call. Kirsten is the new president of Capitol View Manor.
Yes. Okay, Kirsten, I will see your face because I know you sent me the email, correct?
Yeah, I did send you the email. Nice to meet you. I am excited to work with you. I live directly across from the school that we're talking about on Lynn Haven. I am glad to hear that there is a regular maintenance schedule. Being that we live right across the street from the school, I mean, we've seen it get vandalized, we've seen it get broken into, yeah. And you kind of alluded to it earlier. I understand that school has to be making money for APS right now with all the filming that's going on. I mean, there was at least last summer or the summer before, I feel like there was a filming every week or every other week at the school. However, I will say that the neighborhood really wants to see it is something else come of that school. We do not want to see it raised. There's a lot, like Adrian said, that building is very precious to us. It has wonderful history. It was designed by one of Atlanta's premier Black architects, back when in the 1920s. So it has wonderful history and beautiful architecture. We would love to see it preserved, but we do want to see it utilized and not continue to sit there.
Got it. Yep. And we've been having these conversations for a while on this as well. And so what I'll definitely take this feedback back as we're having this conversation and making that very clear. And like I said, at one point when it was vacant, we brought it back in terms of allowing, like movie theaters, not theaters, moving production companies. It really is a popular place. But I'll definitely circle back with Larry in two aspects to get the schedule to you. They're going to look at that tree on the side, Ms. Barry. So I'm glad that you're on this call. And then for us to just really have a deeper conversation about about the next phase and properties like Capitol View and some of our other properties throughout the city where we're hearing, similar conversations. So I'm glad to meet you, and we'll keep in touch. And don't hesitate to reach out to me or call me for any additional questions or thoughts as well. And Adrian knows as well.
Yeah, great. Thank you so much.
No problem. Thank you. Any other questions, thoughts, comments?
if nobody else has a comment, Eshé, this is something that we've talked about in the past,
Mhm.
but I would love to see more outreach to the communities that that don't necessarily have kids in the neighborhood. I mean, kids in the school. I don't have any kids in the school, but I care deeply about the
Mhm.
children in the neighborhood and the children in APS. And it breaks my heart when I see people moving in and then sending their kids to private school instead of investing. Kirsten, I don't mean to keep bringing her up, but Kirsten is great because she's helping to organize some of the parents who are really interested in elementary, in Perkerson Elementary.
Mhm. Mhm.
And so I try to support everything they do. But I guess my question is, I know you've got the Go teams, but the Go teams are so parent oriented and not necessarily community oriented. Do you know what I mean? Not necessarily. They're all the Go team are all parents, and I understand that parents have the most vested interest in the schools. But how can I, as a non-parent, be involved and help to support
Yeah.
the Carver, especially the Carver cluster?
Mhm. Yeah, so it's a couple of things. The Go teams, we changed that structure to no, the Go teams is a combination of parents, community, and school, school staff and leadership that's a part of the Go teams. And like I said, we have individuals on here that can share more about that. But that was part of the process of moving to Go teams and a governance structure that included everyone. And so, like as I always share with you, as I always share with you all, it's important if you visit our schools, in particular Perkinson. Principal Ford would love to have you and be able to and share with you some ways that you all can support the school. And what I'll continue to do as well is reach out to figure out what those needs are and share them in those community spaces that community space and community events that I'm a part of as well, in terms of keeping everyone informed. But to Mrs. Berry's activity, I think that's where it started. We're seeing this trend all over District 6, where we're having groups of parents and groups of young families whose children may be 4 or 5 years old that are actually coming to the schools, learning more about the schools, learning how they can help, and going from there and making the decision. And that's what we strive for. I think for us, we strive for, regardless of where the decision our parents choose, knowing that they have a great school in their community and in their neighborhood. And we want you all, there's an open door, the door is clean open for anyone from the community to come and visit the schools. And so we're going to continue to advocate in that space. So I think, Adrian, to your point, if you want to start by, if we want to pull a group of community members together, we can help coordinate a visit at the school, or even a call with Principal Ford and reach out, or even Mr. Guilford over at Sylvan or other schools that are in the area, to talk to the leadership and see how can community members with no children but have vested interest can get involved in the school. We can help coordinate that.
Great. Thank you so much.
So
Also, I want
circle back. Go ahead, Keith. Sorry.
I was gonna say, do you know if your NPU has a educational liaison? Because if you guys have any questions or
Yeah.
concerns or anything that you guys would like to know, I'm gonna put my information to the chat, and I can serve as your point of contact. So for anything that you need to get more clarity around as it relates to APS, I'd be happy to be that liaison person, that to provide you guys that information anytime you guys have a question or anything.
Yeah. So Monique Nunley used to do it for the NPUY, and she would reach out to NPUX as well.
Yes.
But I think Melissa.
Melissa Hughley. I was asked that, Adrian. Melissa Hughley is the education liaison. Is she still, Adrian?
She hasn't been to the last couple of meetings, or at least I don't remember. I'm not sure, but I know she used to be.
Okay, we'll connect and we'll connect, Keith. We'll get that information and connect on that. Miss Copeland, I know you had Sorry about
Yeah,
that.
I also wanted to say, and Travis put it in the chat, we on our website, APS Connects, it gives you information as well as our district calendar. So let you know of the district engagement events. And also in the Carver cluster, we have one Carver, which is our partner in traditional schools. So I can also tag team with Keith to support you in engaging with our principals, our teachers, and our school leaders and parents from the community engagement lens.
Thank you.
Oh, Ms. Berry.
Yeah, hi. So, Adrian's right. My kids they're little. They're 2 and 4. And that's kind of the age range of, a lot of the parents with kids that, I've been communicating with. And there is a lot of interest from parents with children in those younger age ranges to enter our District 6 schools, support them, but there's still a lot of uncertainty on the parent side about, what do the school ratings mean? I mean, everybody's going online and they're looking at greatschools.org, and they're not really understanding how to parse out all the data, and then also to understand that, the data doesn't mean a lot or anything in a lot of cases. And so what I've heard a lot of parents ask for, and actually I know it for a fact that one parent in particular is trying to put together an event like this, is there somebody from APS, like an APS representative, that can come out and hold a meeting with parents of these little kids that are going to be entering elementary school in the next couple of years, or next year or two, and really kind of go over the data with them and tell them what they can look forward to with our district schools.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, absolutely. We can coordinate that, and Ms. Berry, you and I, we can connect, and Adrian, and see if we can pull something together. And Travis also put 2 links in the chat. He put apsinsights.org, Kirsten, which is all our actual data. The thing with great schools, and I hear this a lot, particularly on, just throughout the district, great schools is a subjective rating. And so you have, you just have individuals that, and a lot of times, I mean, there was a study that was done a few years ago where it was pulled that the individuals that was making rating the schools were not even in the area, were not even connected. And so I think I appreciate you uplifting that the community. You have, individuals that are questioning what the great schools ratings are. But we can coordinate that. We can coordinate a conversation as such, because we've done it in the past. But in the meantime, if you really want to look at our data, if you go to APS Insights and share that gives you the true actual data for APS. And then, like I said, we could chat sidebar to organize something if that works.
Yeah, no, that would be great. And I think, there's a lot of great things behind our District 6 schools. A big talking point that I've shared with parents is, Perkerson. And I'm sorry if I'm a little off on this, but I believe Perkerson Elementary was like #1 in the Southeast for growth. There was some, and, it's talking points like that I think really help parents of these little kids to make the decision to, consider the school that they wouldn't have already. But I'll share that APS Insights. I think from parent feedback as well that have kind of looked at that data, they still don't quite know how to parse that out. So you and I can definitely talk offline and see what we could put together.
Sounds good. We'll do.
And Board Member Collins, I know I put a bunch in the chat. This is Travis. Happy to work with Board Member Collins and the rest to help y'all out and walk you through some resources and things like that. As a parent in the system as well, the biggest thing you can do is recommend anyone visit a school before you make a decision to send or not to send your kid to school. And so we can do the meetings. We're happy to share as many resources and information as possible. But if I could share just one piece of advice, it is go visit a school before you decide not to send your kid there or to send your kid there. So, but happy to figure out how we can better support Kirsten, your families.
Do they ever have open houses for the community?
Absolutely. Yeah,
Absolutely.
and I'll try to pull up Perkerson's as an example. But yeah, every school usually does tours, open houses, right around school choice time period. Like Barack and Michelle Obama, Benteen, some of these schools have tours, multiple times a week. So absolutely. And part of it is reaching out and hopefully getting a warm and welcoming voice on the other side of that phone call who invite you into the school, even if they're not having an open house. So please reach out to the school, and I'll also look around for some of your district school open houses.
And I wanted to tag team with Travis as well. Most of our schools have parent liaisons too. That can also support you in resources that you need for families, new families, existing families, those that are transitioning to different grade levels. And so along with Travis and Keith, we can definitely get those resources to Adrian as well as Kirsten.
So, Kirsten, I'll circle back with you, and we'll start at least just having initial planning conversations on that, and then I'll get some more details in terms of, like, visitation or open houses or things of that nature as well, before the huge open house that we normally hold right before the school year begins.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Any other questions, thoughts, feedback?
It's me again. I think this is the most I've ever talked for a board community meeting, but I'm excited. This is good information. I forgot one announcement. It is brand new. It is also in March. And I'm gonna have B. White to give you a brief snippet of it. We haven't pushed it out completely. It will go out starting next week, but I want her to share what's coming up in March.
Good evening, everyone. I wanted to tell you about a new initiative that we're pushing out in the Office of Family Engagement. After much research, we noticed that there is a clear line. It's a clear connection between our single-parent households and family engagement. So this year, out of respect for our single-parent families throughout the district, we want to give acknowledgement to all of our single parents, whether they be staff or families of APS. So I am going to drop a flyer in the chat. It's not a requirement. This year, it's an invitation. Next year, we'll take this initiative a lot higher so that it kind of matches the same energy as our Hispanic Heritage Month. But we are just, we've researched it fully, and we see that there are about 35% in Fulton County of our students are being raised in single parent. So I'm going to drop that in the chat for you now.
And actually, it's National Single Parent Days, which I want her to speak to, which is going to be March the 21st. So stay tuned. We're going to hold a flyer for 1 second. We're going to send it out next week. But just mark your calendars. March 21st is National Single Parent Day. Thank you.
Is there a way to be on the mailing list so that we can, sometimes I stumble upon things when Eshé comes to our NPU meeting. But if there was a mailing list for people who are interested in what's going on in APS, or specifically in my Carver cluster, I would love to be able to see that so I can support fundraising events and support just different events in the system.
Yes, absolutely. I put my information in the chat, Keisha Copeland, and we do have a mailing list for community members as well, and we'll make sure that you get all of the information of our family engagement initiatives. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you so much. Thank you for that. All right. Any other? Okay. Kim Brooks.
Sorry, I'm actually from the Carver cluster, but I'm listening in on this meeting, and I did not know that it was the parent national whatever that it is. Are you spreading that idea? Is there an opportunity or something to the other board members, or is this just with your your district is doing, because that's excellent. Is there an initiative? Because I think this is the first that I've heard of it, and that's in the Carver cluster. You know how many single parents we
Yep.
have in this community. So if I could be added to whatever communication, I'll put my email here, because I'm not in your cluster in your district. Katie Howard's my district member, but I think the parents here could benefit from that. That I don't know what it could be and what we could do to develop it in this district, but that's a great thing. That's a great thing.
So thank you, Ms. Brooks. So I want to give kudos to B on our team. She is a single parent. She's done all of the research. So this is hot off the press. It will go to all board members. It is for all families, community members, and staff throughout the district. So the flyer will go out next week. We're waiting till winter break is over, and it will go out. It'll also be on our website, on our district calendar. Our communications department is going to push it out as well. We also send all of our information to our NPUs, our community, parent organizations. So yes, and please put your information in the chat. We would love for you to be one of our parent champions to help spread the word of all of the amazing family and community engagement initiatives that we're doing in the district. So thank you so much for that.
Keisha, I did drop a link just for the history of it so they can understand how long it's been in existence. I think you'll find it very interesting.
And Chair Collins, I also just put in there for people who want to register for our newsletter and for updates in APS, the direct link to access all of that information. So sometimes it comes out 100 different ways, but that's one way to at least get most of it.
Thank you so much, Travis. And so, Adrian, just want to make sure you see that link at the bottom, and I'll also send it to you directly as well, just to make sure that you can have it and you can share it in the group chats or group chats or the listserv that you have for Capital View, and as well for Kirsten the same. Yeah. Oh, I see Melissa Hughley's name. Hand raised. Sorry. Hey, Melissa.
How everybody doing? Sorry, I got here late.
It's okay.
Nevertheless, did y'all mention about the Go Teams?
Yes, we did. Yeah, we talked about that process being open. Did you want to share anything else?
No, I did not want to share anything. I just wanted to mention that about the Go Teams. That's pretty much it.
Good. Cool. Good. Thank you. Appreciate that. Any other questions, thoughts, comments, ideas?
I'm hearing none. Seems like.
Yeah, a few more minutes. So we shared a lot of links in the chat for you. Want to make sure that you're able to access those links. A lot of it is actually, if you go to our APS, our web page, a lot of that information is immediately on the first page, and then I encourage you to scroll down where you can access our full calendar and see all of the events that are happening as well. You have the link to register for our newsletter, so we can make sure you stay informed on all the events that are happening in APS. I will be connecting, Adrian. I'll be connecting with you and Kirsten in terms of moving forward with school engagement and planning in that space. And other than that, I don't think there's anything else that we have. Melissa, I see your hand raised again. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I didn't raise my hand. I'm sorry. Hey, Adrian. To give a shout out to my grandson who made the honor roll over at Carver Early College.
Oh, good. You have a grandson in the district now? Sorry, you guys. That's personal connection. Your kids, now your grandkids are at APS. That's amazing.
And my granddaughters over at Emmanuel's. They made straight A's, baby. Hey, lift it up.
You dating us, Melissa.
Yes.
Congratulations. Well done. Adrian.
Congratulations, Melissa. It's good to see you, Melissa. But Eshé, I wanted to ask you, what about advocating on the state level? So I know Phil Olele just had a bill, and to be honest with you, I just know that it had to do with education. Do you know which bill I'm talking about? His House bill for is there advocacy that we could be doing for APS at the state level? No, it had
Absolutely.
to do with the funding. It had to do with funding of schools of children of poverty.
Yes. So that is, I was just pulling up the legislative update there. And so to answer your initial question, absolutely, there are things that you could be doing to advocate for APS and just education in its entirety at the state capitol. We know what we do know is one of the largest underfunded items in the state budget is education. And so there's been this huge push in advocacy of putting more dollars into education, whether it's with, and we'll see some of those increases with the budget based on I think now it's a $10 billion surplus that the state has. Last year, it was maybe like six or close to 7 billion. So Phil's Representative Leahy's bill focuses on providing districts additional funding based on a poverty index. And APS, we've already been doing that on our own locally through our student success funding formula to a degree, but to have this movement in the state is really going to be a game changer. It's really going to be a game changer if this is approved and it goes before the governor for a vote. So we've been very active at the Capitol. We have our own legislative team that aligned with this agenda, and I'll drop our legislative priorities as well in the chat so that you will see the positions that we as a school system on behalf of our children and communities in Atlanta, what we're taking a active step for advocating for and against things that benefits our school district and and also harms the district as well. So I'll put that in the chat so you'll have that. But that's the basis of his bill in terms of every district getting additional funding based on the number of students that they have living in poverty. And so you're seeing a lot of traction in that bill, as you can imagine, when you are talking to those representatives that are in rural areas and have schools that are in the rural parts of the state that are heavily impacted. So that's where this bill is getting some movement, and we're following it closely to see what's going to happen with it. But he was able to get bipartisan support on it.
Thank you.
Yep, no problem.
Adrian, you can reach out to me. This is Melissa. I could have told y'all that. Also, y'all need to advocate for Bill 51, which is the after school money that they didn't fund. They didn't put any additional funding in there for after school.
Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry about that.
Oh, you're fine. They didn't add any extra money for that. So I do know that I am advocating with an agency right now to actually try to get them to add some funding in there for this year, but it's not in there for 25. I can tell you that right now. Mm-hmm. That's been cut. So Adrian, just reach out. You know my number.
Okay. All right, Melissa, and don't hesitate to call on me.
I won't. I will. Thank you. Now I know you interested. I never knew you was interested in education like that. I know. I will. All right, now I'm gonna finish speaking, yeah.
Thank you.
All right. So, Madam Chair, I'm calling you Madam Chair. I'm so used to saying that. So time is 7:53. Any closing remarks and take us on home?
No, I will keep you guys posted. I'll circle back and get that and connect with you Kirsten, and make sure I say it properly, Kirsten and Adrian. Please, again, we put chat links in the chat, making sure you also register for our newsletter. My next community meeting, it's slated for May 2024, right? Is that correct, right? Yep. So May, which will be a busy month with commencement, and as we're rolling, closing out the school year. So please be posted, please stay posted on that date. You all have my contact information where you can reach me. So don't hesitate if any questions come up, any questions come up after this meeting, please do not hesitate just to reach out to me, call, text, or send an email. And thank you so much, Adrian, for wishing me a happy birthday. I celebrate all year, so I will I look forward to continue to celebrate. So thank you so much. I appreciate you all, and thank you so much for your time. Bye, you guys. Have a good evening.
Hey, everyone, exit ticket is a wave.
Bye, thank you.
The exit ticket is a wave. Yay, that teacher comes out.
All right, see y'all. Have a great day.
All right.